Hello everybody, this is GeneralJannis and today I'm looking at the meta-analysis. How are the win factions? How is the state of the game of 40k? How are chaos factions doing? And some examples of top performing chaos lists. So with no further ado, let's get started. So today, the 13th of April, looking, as I said, on the meta of 40k with a special chaos focus, looking at the win rates for the different factions, looking also at how the factions are placing in grand tournaments, so which ones are overrepresented, let's say, winning and good positions in grand tournaments. Looking also then at example typical top performing lists for the chaos factions. The data source for all of this is the 40k stats from Gunhammer. I think it's an excellent page where you can find a lot of data, and here I'm trying to visualize them and interpret the data. So we see here the win rate, excluding draws, from around 40,000 games played in the Leviathan set in March and April. And you can see that on the chart that you have the various factions and the win rate, and we see the top placing win rate is Necrons with 57% win rate, followed by Custodes and Battle Sisters at around 55% win rates. Then we have the Black Templars as the most successful Marine factions. The vanilla Space Marines, let's say, are not in a very good spot. So here only 42% win rate, but Black Templars and then Space Wolves and Blood Angels and the Dark Angels are better performing than the, let's say, the baseline vanilla Space Marines. Looking at the Chaos factions, I have put color on their color on the graphs. So we have Death Guard with the highest win rate, around 52%. Most of the Chaos factions are around 50% mark. So we have Chaos Demons, we have the Thousand Suns, Chaos Knights, and World Eaters around the 50% mark. But Chaos Space Marines are struggling below 45% win rate. So need some some buffing or a new codex or something like this. Overall, I think we have seen the bigger imbalances in the game. So sometimes we had factions winning over 60% win rate. Not fun to fight them, but quite more balanced than we have seen in the future. Most of the factions are within here around 45-55% win rates, which also Games Workshop seems to be aiming at. But still, always something to fix in such a complex game to get a good balance, but not so bad as we have seen in the future. And in the table at the bottom left, you can see the win rate and then how often the army is represented overall in these 40,000 games. So Death Guard, the highest win rate overall, and also highest participation from the Chaos factions. Around 5% of all the players are using Death Guard in these games here. And we see, for example, all the Space Marines I've added here, the Space Marines and the Black Templars, etc. They have a win rate at around 48%, and 19% of the list. That's you have a big risk or chance to face Space Marines. But Necrons, of course, when they are popular and have a high win rate, they also have a high representation of 8.5%. And then here I'm analyzing what the one thing is the global overall win rate, but then if we look at grand tournaments of a certain size, how are the top places decided, let's say. So here I've been looking from the 40k stats page at they have 73 grand tournaments, and then looking at which factions have achieved top 3 finishes, so first, second, and third places. And we see here on the table, for example, that Necrons, they have claimed 38 of the top 3 spots in these 73 grand tournaments. You see the global overall win rate for all the games that are not necessarily in grand tournaments, and the participation. So we see the global participation of Necrons in those games was 8.5%, but the top spots they claimed was 17%. So that means that the winning factor per participation, if we can call that, is that they are claiming, let's say, more of their fair share of the top finishes. so 200% here. So one of the most strong factions at the moment. But we also see Grey Knights, although 4% of the lists are, let's say, um, Grey Knights, they are claiming 8% of the top spots. And we see also Black Templars, also with this high win ratio, so much more in the top lists than their global representation would give them. If we see Custodes, they also claim quite high number of top finishes, but they are also quite high represented. So Black Templars in this respect would be a stronger, let's say, Grand Tournament list than a Custodes list. In this metric, we see also the Thousand Sons, although not very present, 3.5% of the total list. They are still claiming a lot of top spots, so 6% here lists. But if we go further down in the list, somewhere near the bottom, we see Death Guard. So with quite nice overall win rate at 52%, quite high representation. We don't see Death Guard claiming top positions very often, so it's on the opposite spectrum of, let's say, where the Necrons are. And you can see of some of the other factions as well. Chaos Knights also have difficulties claiming top positions in tournaments, and also the Chaos Space Marines. They suffer both from low overall win rate, and they didn't perform very well in the tournaments as tournament lists. Then going on to the cash factions and giving you some examples of the lists that have been placing well and winning tournaments or getting in second, third position. Here we have 3 examples, and the Death Guard lists, as I previously also showed you in the meta 2000 points Death Guard list video, I'll put a link here, centered around quite a lot the same theme. We have Biologus Putrefier, Foul Blightspawn with big squads of Marines in Rhinos, like the first list, for example, 2 Biologus, 2 Foul Blightspawn, 2 big squad of Marines in 2 Rhinos. Those are your, let's say, big hitters. And then we have some fire support vehicles. In the first list, we have 3 Predator Destructors, 2 Plague Scrollers, and a Brigand from the Chaos Knights. And then supplemented in this list by Lord of Ireland's one group of Death Shroud, the 30 Bloodrune with the Speeders that's fast and can spread contagion, and Nurglings are also very present in Death Guard list as a cheap presence action taking unit. And we see also the variations of a similar theme, the Stinky 2.0 list with 3 Biologus Putrefiers, 2 Foul Blightspawn. Here we have Typhus, 2 big squads of Marines, 2 small squads of Marines, and here we're using 3 Rhinos. The Spawn are present in this list, Cultists, 2 30 Bloodrune with the Speeders, 2 Plague Scrollers, the Nurglings, and a Soul Grinder here. And the last list with Mortarion, 4-inch is a lot, right? About the movement of our Terminators, I suppose. And here we only have 1 Rhino with the Plague Marines, but we have Mortarion, Typhus, and the Lord of Irelands. There is a big squad of Death Shroud. Again, 2 Predator Destructors, as in my last video. The Predator Destructor has a very high damage output for its points. Plague Scrollers, Nurglings, and Beast of Nurgle. And regarding the Predator Destructor, I covered in my last video. Thanks everybody for sending me some pictures of their Nurgle Predators that I could also share here. So big thanks for the Nurgled Predators. If we then switch our attention to the Thousand Sons, the lists are quite different compared to, let's say, the Death Guard, because in the top placing Thousand Sons list, you always will have the Primarch, Magnus the Red. He's really strong buffing the rest of the army. We also always have Ahriman. Then we have quite a lot of the characters, Exalted Sorcerers, etc. All of those characters are generating a lot of Cabal points, so Thousand Sons can do their shenanigans. And then we have, let's say, typically, often we have multiple smaller squads of Rubrics, and we see the Mutalith Vortex piece being present, and Changor Enlightened as a cheap, fast-flying unit with the Fatecaster bow, so they can do actions and go to places where they are needed. If we look at the first example, as I said, Magnus the Red with Ahriman on a disc, 2 Exalted Sorcerers on a disc, 1 Exalted Sorcerer, there was no that didn't get a disc from Ginge, the Infernal Master, and then we have 2 big squads of rubrics, 1 small squad of rubrics, some Changors, the Vortex Beast, some Spawn, and the Changor Enlightened. The second list, quite around the same theme again. Magnus the Red, Ahriman, 2 Exalted Sorcerers, Infernal Master, 2 Thousand Sun Sorcerers. Then we have 4 small squads of rubrics, the Changors. Here we also have a Rhino, the Vortex Beast, and then 3 squads of Changor Enlightened. And then the last example, a winner of the Midcon Spring in Denmark here, Magnus the Red, Ahriman, Exalted Sorcerers, Infernal Master, Thousand Sun Sorcerer, and a Thousand Sun Sorcerer in Terminator armor. This is the, let's say, we don't see the Scarab Terminators so often used in competitive lists, but here we have three small units of rubrics, 1 squad of Scarab Terminators, some cultists, the Mutilith Vortex Beast, and again the Changor Enlightened. If we then go to our Chaos Demon friends, let's say the competitive lists are really based around the big demons, the big scary demons. So for example, here we have 2 examples of lists. The first one with Be'lakor, 2 great and clean ones, Rotigus, Shalaxi, and then complemented by some smaller units of the lesser demons to do the presence and the action. So here we have four times 3 Nurglings, some pink horrors, plague bearers, and then the flesh hounds also seem to be present as a very fast unit. The second example here, quite around the same theme. So we have Be'lakor, great and clean one. Here we have Scarbrand and the Keeper of Secrets, the Changeling. We have some Bloodletters. Here we have five squads of Nurglings. So Nurglings very popular for the demons. 2 units of Seekers and 2 again of the Flesh Hounds. Then for Chaos Knights, as we saw, they have an okay win rate, but not so often placing well top finishes in grand tournaments. When they do, it's a War Dog based list. So this example here, we have 1 War Dog Stalker. It has to be there to be a character. And then we have 5 Brigands and 6 Carnivores. The Carnivores are really strong in melee. I'll probably also do a video about that. The Carnivores, they can... Yeah, 1 Carnivore took out my Land Raider, ate my Land Raider in last game. And we also have adding four units of Nurglings here to have a cheap unit as well on the table for the Chaos Knights. But as I said, not many lists that are winning the games, and unfortunately not many with the big knights. Then reaching to the guys with the nails in their head, the World Eaters. We have for the Thousand Suns, the Primarch is always present on top performing lists. So we have Angron there. Angron can also come back if you roll hot with your ritual dice. And we have in the first list example here, Lord Invocatus, Lord on a Juggernaut, Master of Executions. Then we also see the Jackals, two units of Jackals, 10 Corn Berserkers with a Rhino in this build, and then we have quite a lot of the elite infantry of the World Eaters, the 8-pound and the Exalted 8-pound. So in this first list we have 1 big squad of Exalted 8-pound and 1 smaller squad. So a lot of melee power and angriness in the first list here. And the second list example a bit different here. So we have Angron and a Demon Prince with wings, the Lord of the Juggernaut, the two Jackals. Then we have 6 8-pounds, and here we have, interestingly, the Lord of Skulls, many points here. The Spawn, and we see also the Hellbrute with the Fist, with the Flamer there, and the Melta. Not so often we see Hellbrutes. I need also to cover the Hellbrute in an upcoming video. So Angron always present here. And then after this, I would suppose to cover the Chaos Space Marines as well, but there was no top finish of the Chaos Space Marines, unfortunately. So reaching to the summary and final thoughts, I think overall win rates of the game and the state of game seems quite reasonable. We have seen in the past some much worse, let's say, situations, but especially the Necrons, the Grey Knights, Custodes, and Black Templars are the ones to watch right now, as we see also Necrons, Grey Knights, and the Black Templars. they are overrepresented in the top finishing list. So more than the global representation would give us. For the Chaos, the Death Guard have an okay global win rate, doesn't win many tournaments, so you have to be quite a good player, I guess, to succeed with Death Guard. But for most of the games, you have an okay chance to do something. The Death Guard, as we have seen, based around the buffed Plague Marines in Rhinos, with fire support from vehicles like the Plague Crawler, Predator, and Brigands. The Thousand Sons are getting good results in tournaments, a lot of good high placing finishes, but I guess they also need a good player to navigate them. Typically for Thousand Sons, we have Magnus present, a lot of his sorcerer friends, or maybe not so much friends like Ariman, but a smaller squad of rubrics to do a lot of cabals and shenanigans and generate a lot of points. And Magnus is a very strong character. The Chaos Demons, based around the big demons, Be'lakor, a lot of the big demons, a lot of great and clean ones, and a lot of Nurglings and other lesser demons to do actions and things like that. The Chaos Knights not finishing on top of, not many top placing positions. When they do, it's based around the War Dogs, as we saw in 9th, so not so many, let's say, big knights, and some Nurglings as allies seem to be also working. And the World Eaters, just like Thousand Sons, they need their Primarch on the table, so Angry Angron takes the lead here, and Chaos Space Marine suffering not a good win rate, and not in top placing positions. So this concludes the video. What do you think about this analysis? How have you been experienced playing with the Chaos factions in the current meta? Um, yeah, please post your comments and questions on the video. I really enjoy every time to read your comments, and also if you have suggestions for other videos. And as always, a very special thanks to all my patrons that have been supporting me for over the years and really a long time, and also my YouTube supporters. Thank you all for your kind support. So with these words, GeneralJannis signing out. Have a nice weekend, and bye bye.